What's up guys, Tommy with Studio Sense here. Thanks for stopping by, checking out today's video. There's a lot of buzzwords that seem to go around when it comes to men's fragrance, like beast or banger or modern. What exactly do those words mean? Are they very important when it comes to the description or the definition of a men's fragrance? Well, today I've got 10 examples of modern, long-lasting, and very unique fragrances just for you guys. So stick around after this intro reel. I've got that and more coming up, so stay tuned. Welcome back everyone. So it's every man's kind of goal to have or to own a fragrance that kind of defines who they are. In other words, when you walk into a room or when you walk by someone and they get your wake, you know, they smell whatever you're wearing, that aroma fills their nose and it sparks memories. The first thing that they think about is you and their association with you, their history with you, all the good and positive things that we want people to think and to feel when it comes to smelling our signature fragrance. Well, contrary to popular belief, sometimes signature fragrances aren't that easy to find. That's exactly why I've kind of gotten together or curated these 10 fragrances that are extremely unique, long-lasting, they have great performance, and they just smell great, and they're perfect for signature wear. It's not a top 10 list, so we're just going to go through them in the order that I discovered them or thought of them because they're perfect for defining those words we often hear or use, like beast or banger or modern, or again, even a phrase like signature scent. The first fragrance that fits in this category is by Emporio Armani and the popular Stronger With You line. Of course, you could argue that any one of these fragrances are great for signature scents, but if you're not a lover of gourmand fragrances, you might not even like this line. That's why I feel like this particular one is somewhat of a departure from gourmand and fits a bit better in that definition of signature, and that is Stronger With You Only. Stronger With You Only is a slight departure from that whole vanilla chestnut sweetness, and it's more in line with something that is a masculine, spicier signature scent. It opens with that grapefruit lavender, you've got geranium, vanilla, and of course that glazed chestnut, a little bit of resins and vanilla in the base. It's still there, it's just not as prominent as it has been in all of the previous iterations of the Stronger With You line. This particular one, again, is a little bit more subtle, but it doesn't sacrifice performance. It's still a very long-lasting and relatively unique scent. Even if you're used to the Stronger With You line, I like the direction that this is going. It's actually grown on me more and more as time goes by, and I think a lot of people have discovered it makes a great signature wear scent. That is Stronger With You Only by Emporio Armani. Another unique and long-lasting, great performing fragrance that's been around for a little while, yet I still think many people have yet to discover how good it is. It is a Guerlain fragrance in the popular L'Homme line. It is L'Homme Ideal, the Eau de Parfum. Now the thing about L'Homme Ideal, it does have some cherry-like overtones. I think a lot of reviewers say, hey, this is a cherry fragrance. There are several websites out there, including FragranceX, that say that there's cherry in this, but there are also several websites that don't include cherry as a note. Regardless of whether it has cherry or not, it's going to remind you of it's got that slight cherry overtone, but primarily what this line is known for is almond. This one goes down a bit of a darker abyss, and that's what I really enjoy about it. It's got a great floral influence with Bulgarian rose, of course that continuing almond, some darker incense, and of course in the base that vanilla that makes this a creamy, wonderful, again, very long-lasting fragrance that is a perfect signature scent. Another thing about signature scents, you can actually wear them in any kind of weather. Of course, each fragrance is best maximized by a particular weather or season, and definitely L'Homme Ideal Eau de Parfum is one you can wear anytime and on any occasion, and that's what makes it so unique. L'Homme Ideal, the Eau de Parfum. My next example of a unique and long-lasting signature wear fragrance is one that's kind of hard to find right now. It always seems to be the case with Issey Miyake fragrances. They come out, they're very hard to find, and then later on you can pick them up. This one is in the Nuit de Sea line. It is Nuit de Sea Bois Arctique, or Bois Arctique, however you want to say it. This one is a fantastic fragrance. It's one I'm wearing today. I really enjoy this one. I described it as kind of a combination of Noir Argent and a bluer fragrance. It's kind of a blue take on the Noir Argent DNA. Got grapefruit, mandarin, orange, pink pepper, black pepper, basil, geranium, vanilla, tobacco, and tonka bean. It's just a fantastic, well-blended fragrance. It's one of those that has just the right amount of everything that is in it. It is a near perfect, and the more that I I wear this, this is coming closer to my 10 out of 10 fragrances, and it might be up there in a future video as a 10 out of 10. For now, it is one of those extremely unique, perfect signature wear fragrances. Nuit de Bois Arctique by Issey Miyake. Some time ago, Roberto Cavalli launched a trio of fragrances that are now just getting a bit harder to find. Now, the original Uomo is still easy to find at any discounter, but the one that I feel makes a perfect signature wear fragrance, is very unique and extremely long-lasting, great performing fragrance, is Roberto Cavalli's Uomo Silver Essence. Silver Essence really surprised me the first time that I smelled it, the first time that I wore it. And it's one of those that even 8 hours later, you'll turn and you'll catch a whiff of it on your skin and you're like, wow, this is super nice. It's kind of one of those fragrances that's hard to pigeonhole. You can't really call it a date night fragrance. You can't really call it an office friendly fragrance, because it's all of those things. And that's why I feel like it fits perfectly in the signature wear category. Roberto Cavalli's Uomo Silver Essence. Another fragrance that I feel like captures the modern sensibilities and the modern needs of the everyman looking for a great signature wear cologne is one by Ralph Lauren, and it's a recently released Polo Blue Parfum. Polo Blue Parfum is one of those that it kind of quietly came out. Some people tried it, reviewed it, said it was good, but it's growing in appreciation as time goes on, and I think it's going to kind of set the standard for blue fragrances, kind of under Bleu de Chanel, because it's definitely not as good as Bleu de Chanel, but it's a fantastic example of a modernized, great performing, unique signature wear blue fragrance in a world of generic blue fragrances. So if you've been waiting or hedging your bets and waiting to try out Ralph Lauren's Polo Blue Parfum, give it a try today. Get a sample of it, try it at a department store. I think you'll really be impressed. Another fragrance that when people think of cologne for men, they often think of Giorgio Armani, and then they often think of Acqua di Gio, the best-selling fragrance for men. There are a lot of flankers for Acqua di Gio though, but my absolute favorite is the Profundo line, and a recent release of Profundo Lights. Profundo Lights proves that modern signature scents can still smell like fragrances from days gone by, but also have kind of a newer spin to them that make them feel more modern. Giorgio Armani is all about sourced product, you know, sourced notes, sourced fragrance notes. So the lavender, the rosemary, in particular the Guatemalan patchouli, is a very high quality. This one is again one of the more long-lasting Acqua di Gios and one of the more pleasant. The addition of pink pepper kind of lightens it up, spices it up a bit. Really enjoy this one. Acqua di Gio's Profundo Lights by Giorgio Armani. Another new release that I want to give some love to, because it's just a prime example of an older formula that can be modernized or spiced up a bit and using technology. It is another Giorgio Armani fragrance. It is Armani Code Parfum, one of those iris-oriented fragrances, but it uses bergamot and bergamot leaf in the open to keep it fresh. What's interesting about this, normally bergamot's used in men's fragrance in the open, and it lasts a little bit into the dry down, but very rarely does it last the life of the fragrance. They've actually captured the bergamot molecule in this, and they've made it sustain itself through the life of the fragrance, and that's what gives it a somewhat minty, fresh feeling and sensation, along with that very aldehydic orris butter and iris. It gives it its great performance, makes it long lasting. Even though it's reminiscent of the original Armani Code, it's a fresh take on it, and I really enjoy that. It's a more modernized take on it. It's another great example of a modern signature wear cologne. The next fragrance that I feel like is a great example of a unique, long-lasting signature wear fragrance is what I call the poor man's tuxedo. Tuxedo, of course, a Yves Saint Laurent release that's rather expensive. This one is a fragrance by Rochas. It is Rochas Mustache, the eau de parfum. Once this fragrance was released and it gained in popularity, it was kind of hard to get, but you can find this now very easily. Again, as I always do, I include it in the links below so you can check it out. I really enjoy this one. This is one of those fragrances that it's easy to forget just how good it is, and then you grab it, you open it up. Super heavy glass, the weight of the fragrance, the way that it's made is very good quality. I hate calling it a poor man's tuxedo because there's nothing, you know, in terms of quality, you're not getting anything lesser. Fantastic fragrance. Love the smell of this. Again, even though it's got a light harken back to days of yore, you know, when it comes to fragrances. And what I mean by that are like 70s, 80s, 90s kind of barbershop feel to it. It is a modern spin and modern take on that overall DNA or scent profile. And again, very similar to Tuxedo. If you've never smelled YSL's Tuxedo, try this out. It's a very close facsimile to that fragrance. Very enjoyable, very long lasting. Rochas Mustache Eau de Parfum. Certainly the note of iris seems to be having its heyday when it comes to the past several years in men's fragrance. And this next example of a long lasting, unique signature wear fragrance is no exception. It uses the note of iris. And of course, Givenchy Gentleman line is very well known for making use of iris. It is the Givenchy Gentleman Eau de Toilette Intense, or Givenchy Gentleman Intense. This is one of the most enjoyable versions of the Gentleman line because it takes the iris note, it adds this very warm, creamy vanilla, and it makes use of a note. If I were British, I would call it coumarin, but I'm not, so I'm just going to call it coumarin, which oddly enough, in certain quantities, I believe is illegal because it's poisonous to us, but you know, so don't ingest the bottle, just wear it on your skin, you're going to be okay. Fantastic smelling fragrance. Is a unique smell, even with the fragrance DNA already being out there for a while. This is a unique take on it, a very modern take on it, because it makes use of blue iris and cypress in the heart, and that lasts into the dry down. Fantastic, unique, masculine, gentlemanly fragrance, Givenchy Gentleman Eau de Toilette Intense. Last on my list of 10 fragrances that I feel like are excellent in terms of performance, very long lasting, very unique smelling, that you would be happy for people to think of you when they smell any one of these fragrances. And I will say, if you even just own one of these fragrances, you have in your hands a fantastic example of a modern smelling fragrance, you know, for the modern man, modern sensibilities. This is a fragrance by Jean-Paul Gaultier. It is Le Male Le Parfum. Le Male Le Parfum is the, I guess, penultimate Le Male. Le Male's been around for a long time. You probably own it, or either have smelled it, or know someone who has it, or know someone who wears it all the time. This is the adult or grown-up version of Le Male. Not only is the Le Parfum version a great cool weather version of Le Male, because that's kind of the way that I view it, it's just an all-around epic daily wear, signature wear fragrance, signature scent version. Basically, cardamom, lavender, iris, oriental woods, and vanilla is the encapsulation of the formula of the fragrance. And it's just the, again, most perfectly blended version of Le Male. So if you like Le Male, you're going to get the original Le Male. In this, you're just going to get a little bit heavier, dustier, long-lasting version of it in the Le Parfum version. And that's why it's a great example of a modern signature wear fragrance or cologne. Well guys, that's it for my 10 fragrances that I feel are great examples of modern bangers, beasts that perform just as good as they are unique. If you own any of these fragrances, I'd like to know what your experience with them is like, and if you feel like there are other fragrances out there that belong in a list similar to this that make a great signature wear or signature scent cologne, let me know what those are as well. Thanks so much though for stopping by, taking the time to check out today's video. As always, thank you so much for your support on my channel. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you tomorrow.